Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to show you something today that I have just kind of played around with and thought might be useful for you guys if you don't have your own stencils, but you have lots of dies and border dies. I suddenly thought that border dies might make a good stencil. So I have an alternative, but I will walk you through each of the dies that I used. I used my Lawn Fawn border dies, that's the word, and so I used a variety of them. For this one I used this grassy border die, and so this one looks like this, right? So you'll end up with two pieces. So I start with a piece that is just over 6, maybe 6 1/8 by 4 inches, and I then line the die up in the middle of it this long ways. So this is this die here, and I then run it through a die cut machine. Now this particular acetate is beyond thick, so it was actually very difficult to cut. I used my Gemini, I added the metal shim, it still wouldn't cut. I then put it through my Big Shot with the precision base plate, and I ran through a few times on each, and this grassy one for some reason just did not want to cut through. I don't know why, drove me mad, and eventually I basically, it imprinted enough in there, it just wouldn't cut all the way through. So this one in particular that I happen to have on hand is very thick, so I wouldn't use something quite so thick. I would use maybe an acetate that is just a thinner, you know, or a regular type of acetate, or I would try, which I might do next time, I might try something like a running some what are they called, lemonading pouches without anything in them. Just run them through your laminator until they're sort of sealed shut, and then maybe try and use that instead. But this I basically cut by hand with a you can see, with a craft knife, to the point that the very tip of the craft knife actually pinged off and hit my cheek. So I don't know where that is, but that's sort of the start of it. But what you'll end up with is these two pieces like this. So if I put them together, bearing in mind this one's a bit very homemade, this is the original piece that you would start with. Then I put the border die across the middle like so, eventually got it to cut, or by hand in my case, and then you'll end up with two pieces. So what you'll do is this top piece here, which is actually kind of like the negative of your stencil or your cut, you would then use this as your stencil to create, say, grass in this case. And then when you've done that with your, say, your green, then what you'll do is you'll put this one, which is the positive, you'll put that over the top of where you've just stenciled, and then you can do your sky. Now there are other companies out there who have started to do this, and I love it, but I just thought, actually I have border dies, so I'm going to try and make my own. But like I say, this is ridiculously thick, so I was worried at one point that I'd broken my machine, so I would not have been impressed with myself if I'd done that. So that's the grassy one, and that way you've also got two decent size that you can hold on to stencil, etc. So I'm just going to walk you through the other ones that I did. Same idea. Let me find somewhere to put these. Right, so that's the grassy one. Then I did also have this, oh, you can't see that, sorry. This is the, again, these are all Lawn Fawn. This is the mushroom border, goes with the mushroom house, I believe. And so I did the same thing with this one. I cut this is like a curved grass, so that's quite nice, and shorter, like, what are they called, blades. And then there's the sort of negative. So again, you'd start with your negative when you're stenciling, and then you'd lay this over the top to cover it to then do like your sky area. So I'll show you that. I'll demo one so you know what I'm on about if you don't know already. So what's next? Oh yeah, so then I use these three. I cut all three of these. These are the wavy dies. I can't remember the exact name. If I remember, I'll try and put it up somewhere, wherever, for you guys. But again, there's three different types of wave here. So this one landed up being like so. So how I remember which is the like original, or the one that you would typically die cut a piece of paper out of, is that a lot of lawn fawn stuff has stitching. So this stitched edge here, I know is what I would die cut if I was using this on a piece of paper. So I know then which way round, for my head anyway, this works. So again, you've got these, you know, same idea, you've got like a positive and a negative. But what I found with some of them, like this one, you kind of land up with a different kind of wave that you could use. So you could do this the opposite way round. So you could essentially turn this round and have it that way, you know, have your waves in a different direction, just for a bit of fun. So there's that one. Then the next one of these was this guy. So again, just got a different wave, and again the negative there. And then we have this guy, and they do fit inside each other. The other thing is just to, I'm not overly fussed if they don't fit completely like a puzzle, because I don't really need it for that. I need it just as so that it's not, so that it covers what I need to cover when I'm trying to stencil and things. Right, so that's the wavies. And then on this one, this is just how I'm storing them. There's three waves. These are the wave, I think these are just called the ocean wave dies or something. Again, these are lawn fawn. And there's three sizes of waves. And then what I did for these is I used one of the slopey ones and then the two sort of more wiggly slopes. And I will show you that now. So we have one of the wigglies of the hillsides. And again, excuse me, if you swapped it round, you'd have a different shape hill. So that's where I think this is quite a neat idea. Same thing here. This is just a different wiggle. And again, you can swap them around like so. And then this is one of the straight, what I call the straight waves. The other one goes in kind of the opposite direction, so the other one will do this, but I didn't have quite enough of this, and by this point I was frustrated with the way it was cutting. So but I can just turn that around if I want it to go. Can I turn it around? No, that's the same thing, isn't it? Oh, you know what I mean. Some of them will do that, some of them won't. We'll just go with that. Then for the waves, let's see. So the waves I found quite interesting. So there's the wave itself, and then this is the piece that will sit, you know, it's opposite. But with the waves, if I turn this way around, you've got cloudy, like a cloudy shape. Now I don't have any cloud, well I have, I think like a cloud, like the inside of it's like an inside pop-up thing. But I don't have like a cloud border. So this is a good alternative if you've got a simple wave like that, as opposed to the other ones that we looked at earlier. Then you can just use this as a cloud. See, we're getting clever with our crafting. And then for these, like I say, there's three different sizes of the wave, and of course your cloud. You'll have three different sizes of that as well. And the last one here is this guy. So quite a big wave, and you can layer those up as well in different different tones of blues and blue greens and things like that. And then again you've got like a bigger cloudy look on that one. So because that was a pain in the bum to do, I thought an alternative, if you don't have acetate, if you don't want to go through the hassle I went through with thick acetate, you don't have a laminator, you don't have a, you know, that sort of thing. If you use as thick a cardstock as you've got that will go through your machine, use that. Eventually, as with cardstock, you will have to replace it because it's just going to absorb so much ink. So I thought I'd show you with the grassy border. So this is the grassy border. So this was going to be my alternative, and I was determined to get a plastic version of the thing because I was so frustrated with the way it had gone. So this is, and this probably is, you can see this much better than the plastic on here, but this is what you would cut if you were having your if you were cutting out a cardstock to use it as a layer on your card. And this is like the negative, right? Like we said before with the plastic one, or the acetate one, or whatever you call it. So it's an alternative. You can use cardstock, but like say, as thick a cardstock as you've got would be ideal, because obviously the thicker it is, the less, especially with little bits like this, you're going to have less chance of it catching. I would maybe then in that case also maybe use like a blending brush, so this kind of thing, as opposed to some of the foam tools, because maybe the foam tools will catch more on there than the brush would. And yeah, that's an alternative. But like I say, the card eventually you would have to replace, whereas that's why I decided to try and cut it out of the plasticky stuff, because at least it will last a lot longer. And yeah, we'll see. So let me grab, I didn't have a piece of cardstock. I will go and grab a piece of cardstock and show you how this works. Just one second. Right, so I've just got some box standard. This is actually what I cut the grass out of for the like alternative. So it's quite thick cardstock, and I'm just going to show you how this works. So you've got your two stencils, and like I say, you'll have a negative and a positive. The negative is what you want to start with if you want to start with your grass. So that's what I would start with. So you're going to, let's see if I can tape this down as well so it doesn't move, because you know me, if you've seen some of my latest videos, things move. Right, so this is just a random piece of cardstock. I'm just going to line it up with the edge of the paper there. So this is the one that's going to create the grass. So I'm just going to turn it on its side. So the grass, I have, get a couple of these. The grass I have mowed lawn, you can't see that, but mowed lawn and twisted citron distressings. So I'm going to start with the twisted citron, and we're just going to get some ink on there. Now obviously I'm just doing this for demo purposes, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to take some mowed lawn and just come in right at the top. So this means that you can still bring in more than one colour if you want to, you know, get that variation and that depth. Right, so that's that. Then I'm going to bring in some cracked pistachio and evergreen bough distressings, but I'm also going to take this off. So you see you've got your grass there. Don't forget to clean your stencil. So now we're going to line up what is the positive, negative, I don't know how you want to look at it, with these edges here. Now I don't know that you're going to see that, but basically it's lined up right on over the top of it. Let's see if I can show you here without sticking my fingers together. So it lines right up over that because it's the same thing. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just going to line it up somewhat straight. Tape that down, and then I'm going to go in the other way with the blues. Cracked pistachio. I just grabbed colours. I didn't know what I was even going to be. I'm on the right one here. Wasn't sure how this was going to turn out, but it's just a demo, so it doesn't matter. And then evergreen bough, just from the bottom up. This isn't like proper paper that I would normally distress on or ink on, but you know me, I'll pick anything up. Don't bother me. And then just some more at the top there. That's those two. And then, hey presto, you have, I didn't line it up very well. You see where it's like a little bit of a white edge. That could be quite cool actually for like a Halloweeny nighttime scene if you get that edge on like that. Could almost look like that spooky, shadowy look. But wasn't that easy though, using your own stencils? So like I say, there are other companies out there who have started doing this, and I love it, Lawn Fauna included. I just don't have them, and I just wondered whether I could do the same thing with my own dies that I already have, and I did. So yay. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you guys give this a go. Yeah, have a great day, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.